This is John Smith. John Smith is 16 years old and looking forward to returning to college, but at a late night party he runs into some unfortunate events.
Hey, Brody! Brody, hold on.
Eventually, this event got to the news.
Hi everyone, and welcome to tonight's news. My name is Ben, and today we're covering a serious crime involving a teenager named John Smith.
That's right, Ben. John Smith, who's 16 years old, was at a party late one summer when things got out of control. During the party, a fight broke out between Smith's friends and some uninvited people. Smith tried to step in and stop the argument, but he ended up punching one of the uninvited guys. The punch caused the guy to fall and hit his head. And now Smith is facing a charge of assault causing bodily harm. And while the focus is on John Smith, we can't forget about the victim in this case. The young man who was punched suffered head injuries when he fell. Although we don't know the full extent of his injuries yet, it's clear that this incident had some serious consequences for him as well.
Now, you might be wondering, how does the law treat someone like John, who is just 16? Well, in Canada, the Youth Criminal Justice Act, YCJA, is in place to protect young people, like Smith, who are in trouble with the law. The YCJA is different from the adult criminal system. It focuses more on giving young offenders a chance to learn from their mistakes and help, instead of just punishing them. However, there's an important twist in this case. John Smith has actually been accused of other charges before, and more recently, he's been posting online in mockery about beating other people up. This kind of behavior could suggest a pattern of aggression, which might be taken into account when the court decides to handle his case. If he's shown a history of not taking responsibility for his actions, he could result in other consequences under the YCGA.
How does the YCGA affect John Smith's case? Well, because he's a minor, the court will probably focus on changing his behavior instead of directly punishing him. He could face things like probation or community service instead of jail time, especially if the injuries weren't too serious.
Exactly. The YCJA also means that John's personal details are protected. The law doesn't want to make it any harder for him to get a second chance later on in life, so it keeps his case more private than it would for an adult. But even though he's young, there are still consequences for his actions. If the injuries to the other guy are serious, the court might decide on a harsher sentence. And since Smith has been accused of other charges in the past and has shown a pattern of aggressive behavior online, the court might consider his history of offense when deciding the outcome.
That's all for today, folks. We'll keep you updated when more news has come in. Thank you for tuning in for Channel 6 News, and we'll see you tomorrow.